Creating Instagram carousels, LinkedIn carousels, and any sort of multiple image per post output is not something that I have found a solution for yet. And in this video, I want to build just that. I want an innate automation that is able to take in an idea, do the research on what should actually be in these specific Instagram pictures, which can also be used for something like LinkedIn. And then it will go out, create these images, and then post them directly to the social media channel, which is in this case going to be Instagram. Might also try to do LinkedIn as well, because I believe the process is pretty much the same. So that is what I intend to try and build in this video. It's not something I've built already. It's just an idea that I've had in my head for a while. So I just wanted to build this out and see how it goes. So over here, we have an empty N8N canvas. I have my Instagram account here that I will be using. I have my replicate account. So I'm going to create an API key here when it comes to creating the actual images. And yeah, I'm also thinking I might use Tivoli for this, since this will allow me to search the internet for whatever topic we have. So I think I'll use that as well. And yeah, I think let's just get started. In order to trigger the automation, I'm just going to have a form submission. So here we'll have a basic form that will be called idea insertion. And the description will be insert your idea about which you want to create an Instagram carousel. For this, let's add a main idea, which will be a text, and it will be, a required field. We might also, I guess, choose to have a notes field if we wanted to. And here, my Chrome browser just, almost froze. So we have the main idea. We might also, I guess, have a notes field if we wanted to. So additional notes, optional. And I think that's pretty much it. So let's see, have a look at that. Idea insertion, insert your idea. Yep, main idea. Okay, cool. So let's put in doc training right there. So we get the information into N8N. I'm just going to pin that and hit save. And let's call this Instagram carousel workflow, YouTube. Next thing is that I want to take the idea and do some research on it. So let's go to Tivoli, let's go to search, and let's just research that right there. And I think for this, let's go to topic. Let's go to, in my case, it's going to be a general. It could be news if it's, I guess, more of a business case. So yeah, let's maybe make it more of a business case. Could be news, so it's sort of the latest information. Let's leave that as 5. That's fine. We can include the answers, so we get a bit more advanced answers. Search depth. We could leave this, basic. Chunks, days, include raw content, include images, image descriptions, include domains, exclude domains. Yeah, I think that's fine. So just search for doc training and what's in the news about this. So this should give us 5 pieces of information, 5 max pieces of information about doc training that have been mentioned in the news. And here we got the different results, the content right there, doc harnesses. Doberman does this while walking past girlfriend's house, and it's true, puppy love diesel. Okay. Yeah, maybe we should use a different topic for this. So let's just go here and let's just change this to something more business related, I guess. Let's do AI automation. Let's hit save. Let's run the whole workflow. So let's start this again. AI automation. So we have a better, or rather a more suitable business topic, I guess. Hit save. And here what I'm thinking is that I'm going to use OpenAI. Let's message a model here. Choose 4.1. And this will be responsible for combining news items and coming up with, let's say we have 4 image post prompts. So here we have the search from Tivoli that's complete. So I'll just pin these. And I think what I just want to do is just aggregate all that. So here we might want to aggregate based on the results. The content of each result. So let's create since this is an array, I think the quickest way would be to use a code node and combine the contents of each item. So let's go to Claude, and let's say in N8N, I want a code node that combines each of the array items content into one string. This is the input that will go into the code node. Let's just do that. I think it might give us some sort of, mapping right there. Let's copy that. Let's add a code node here. JavaScript, paste, And let's test this out. So this is the combined content. Cool. So the last one should have RSS, advertise RSS, or Facebook, LinkedIn. Let's see. One way or another. I mean, this should be like part of the last thing. Yeah. And then the first one should have Canon design, which is what we have right here. Yeah. So this is combining everything there. Awesome. So let's call this combining news content results. Let's tidy up this, save. And now here we'll need to have two messages. We have the user prompt, which is the combined content there. For the system prompt, let's just put something along the lines of, you are a helpful content assistant that will take a combined content retrieved from various news articles about, let's put in the topic here, about AI automation. Your job is to output an array with 4 AI image prompts that would allow us to create a carousel for social media with these 4 images. The ideas must carry forward from one image to another, so in your case from one AI prompt to another, so that the user will have a reason to scroll through the next image and to keep scrolling until the end of the 4 images. I mean, not the best prompt, so what I'm going to do is just, let's open up another Claude window, and I'm going to say, can you help me improve this system prompt? Yeah, let's just put that in there and see what this comes with. Original version, you are a social media content strategist specializing in visual storytelling. Your task is to analyze news content about topic, great, and create a compelling 4 carousel sequence. Generate exactly 4 images, nice, requirements. Okay, I like this. Hook, problem introduction, context, key insights, resolution. So it's much more linear. Visual consistency. This might be another thing we do, or that we don't leave up to the AI, I guess, but let's see what this gives us. Output format, great. Style guide. Cool, I like that. Let's copy the improved version. Go back here and let's paste this in there. Let's run this, excuse me, and let's see what we get. So what I'm thinking after this is we split that out. We then generate the individual images using something like replicate. So this would be replicate. Then we would save each individual image. We could do our table. So I guess we'll need to, before splitting out here, somewhere we'll need to create, yeah. So here we might do our table, create a record so that we'll be able to save the information right here. So then over here, we'll be able to update the record. So this would be update. So this will be all within a loop. So over here, we'll have a loop over items. So I can delete this, delete, delete. This would be like so. So for each of the images, we'll generate the image. We'll save it to our table. Here, we'll also need to see if this gave us, okay, this needs to be in JSON. We also need to have the slide number. Yeah, image number, that's one. Okay, that's fine. Let's actually rerun this once more. Okay, we have an error because this is now, yeah. So let's actually rerun what we have so far. So we get the right output there. We needed the image number because we'll want to actually save the information correctly to our table as image 1, 2, 3, or 4. Once this is complete, we could either have the whole thing be done and then we can approve it, which I think might make sense. And then we'll have a separate workflow, which will start with a webhook from Airtable. So this will be Airtable webhook, that when the user presses a button called approve, we grab all the information from Airtable. So here we'll have an Airtable get. So then we'll be able to update the stuff to Instagram, to our social media channel. And for that, we'll need to upload media to Blotato, which is the tool we'll be using right there. And then I think we'll need to, I'm not sure if we can use multiple images here. So we might need to have a loop to run this right here. So we might need to upload these individually, sort of through a loop over item. And yeah, so in this case, we'll need to combine the image URLs. So we might also need to have another code node right there, or a set, I guess. Yeah, I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but we could create image array. Then we could split that so that we would loop over each item. So we can upload the information, and then we'll be able to get the updated URLs that we have in Blotato, and then do the actual upload. So that would be media, a post, create a post on Instagram we'll choose our Instagram rider. And here it would be, yep, a reel. I think this would be it. Post, create Instagram, reel. Yeah, it's not a story, so I think it would be a reel. And potentially we'll be able to comma separated list. Yep. So I think that's the rough or very rough workflow. But let's see how this goes. In this case, I'm going to go to Airtable. I'm going to create a new workflow just for me to test. Let's call this the same as this. And what I'm thinking we'll need here is, let's call this Instagram Reels. And let's see what we'll need here. So let's delete that. Let's change this to record ID. So that's a formula. Then we'll need to have the original prompt. We'll need to have the, I mean, we could save the individual AI image prompts, I guess, but that might be a bit of an overkill sort of situation. So let's say image 1, and this will be duplicated. So we duplicate that and that and that. So we have image 2, we have image 3, and then we have image 4. Then we'll have a button that if we press this button, it would post to, in our case, Instagram. But you could obviously always do that to be different social media channels as well. And let's also have a status here that by default will be to review, but then we'll also have posted. And the default here will be to review. So when we create this, it will be status to review. What will then happen here is that we'll update our row so that it will change the status to posted. All right, sweet. So let's see the output here. So here we have image number 1, prompt, great. Negative narrative purpose, introduce the problem, transition hook. Okay, we don't really need that. It's more about the text. What we also need to generate, I guess, is the actual prompt, like the actual caption. So that's one thing we will also need to factor in. Okay, great. So image number that I like, the prompt I like. We don't need narrative purpose or transition hook. So let's go back here. This is great. Let's make some modifications. I don't need this output info. Also, in addition to the, let's see what we called it here, to the images array, let's also have a caption string that will be used as the social media caption for all the images. So we only need to generate one of these captions. And I think that will give us what we want. Cool. Let's copy this. Go back here. Update the system prompt. Let's confirm this is still green. It's awesome. All right. Let's execute this. And let's see if what we get here is what we actually need. So we have content images, image number 1 and the prompt. Great. Image 2, 3, and 4. Awesome. And then we have the caption. Great. For the caption, we can also be a bit more, I guess, specific with our prompt if we wanted to. Original prompt. Let's also have a social media caption field. So we'll be able to save that. Cool. So let's now go there and let's also factor this in right here. So here we'll want to choose our database. The list will just going to be Instagram Reels. What is important here when we create this is the actual, I mean, not original prompt. This would be the original idea, I guess, whatever the user would enter in the form submission we have right here, right? So it's not really original prompt. It's more of a original idea, which we can drag and drop right there. So that's all we need when it comes to creating this right here. I'm going to pin that as well. And let me just create the Airtable record for this. So we have AI automation right here. Now, this also means that if we go here, let's see if we can split that out based on the images. So now let's pin that. Let's see if we can execute this. And this should give us 4 items. Awesome. Which means we can also loop over those items, right? Because we have the first right there. So for this one, we need to go to replicate. We need to create a YouTube test token. Let's create a token. Awesome. Copy the token. Let's paste that in there. So what we need to do is look at the dashboard right here. And let's use, Black Forest Labs Flux Dev for this. Let's go to HTTP. I'm going to copy this and just go back to N810. I'm going to import my curl, hit import, and I can just use the token I just copied right there. Remove any extra spaces, paste that in there, change this to expression. So now over here, I can just use the prompt I have right here. So this will allow me to generate that image if I execute this. And now I will be able to update this record where the database is called that. The list is reels. I'm going to match on the record ID from my creator record, which is that right there. And all I'm going to do here is, actually I need a switch right here, because I want to say, so I want to know which of these 1, 2, 3, or 4 I need to update, right? I don't want to update pretty much anything. It just needs to be depending on the image number that we're looping through. So this is a number right here. So if this is equal to 1, we'll update the first column right here. And same idea with 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let's add another one here, input the value there. And let's just change these to 4, 3, and 2. So now we should have those 4 routes. So if it's item 1, which in our case it is, and this is creating that again, but if it's item 1, what we just need to do is update image 1 right here. So we can also remove the stuff. We can leave all that. And here, since this is Airtable, we need to have a specific way to insert the information right here. It needs to be an array. It needs to be within curly brackets with the key being URL and the value being the actual information from replicate. So if I go to replicate under output, I should be able to drag and drop that right there. So this will be image 1 specific. And if we just look at whatever we generated here, yeah, we have that brain. What I want to change is the output here. So when I tried Blotato, I had a couple of issues if I was generating WebP. And here I noticed that by default, this is WebP. So I'm just going to change that to JPEG so that that will update. If I were to, for now, just pin this and run this, we should get this added right here, the brain image right there. Awesome. So let's duplicate this and this and this, and then we'll connect that to 2, to 3, and then to 4. In this case, if it's number 2, we just want to delete this. Ensure you delete it, because if not, if you leave it empty, you'll run into an error. And we do the same thing for this, for number 3, and same thing for number 4. Expression, just confirm this is an expression, which it wasn't. This should be, yep, awesome. And now, once we save 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, that's pretty much it. We also need to factor in the social media caption, which I think, where did we put that? Oh yeah, we can immediately save that, I guess. Can we? Yeah, I guess we can. So we have update a record. I think this should work just fine. So we change this to update caption. We should be able to just add the caption from our caption writer, I believe. So we can test that in a second. These need to loop back right here. And I think that should be pretty much it. So let's unpin the stuff here and let's delete everything here. And we can test this to see whether this is working as expected. So let's run this and we have a issue. So here, yeah, this should be now changed because JSON is no longer the previous, or on-form submission is no longer the previous node. So this should generate the information. It should now store the caption right there and then go ahead and generate the images, which it seems to be doing right there. Image 1. Okay, here we have an array. Okay, and I think it's because I didn't set this to be, yeah, a number. So these should be number is equal to, same thing here, and same thing here, equal to. Awesome. Let's delete this right again. In the meantime, I want to have a think about this. So first, we'll need to change the webhook URL in our table. So let's say here, this should be, yep, updating all those. Awesome. If we look at the record here, we have image 1, image 2, image 3, image 4. Great. And yeah, let's have a look at the caption. Ready to future-proof your campus? Discover how AI planning and real-time data can help build resilient dynamic learning environments. I'm curious why this mentioned campus though. Okay, yeah, I guess this is based on whatever research it found. Yeah, I mean, if we feel this is redundant, we can always remove it, I guess. Anyway, yeah, let's focus on the button next. So here, I'm just going to grab the production URL. Get is fine. I'm going to turn this on. There's a problem. Cool. So let's delete or deactivate the problematic nodes so that we can turn this on. And now, if we grab these back, what I want to do is just update the webhook URL, for this button. So I'm going to paste it in there, and I'm just going to send the record ID of this specific row right here by appending that to the end of my webhook right there. So now if I were to hit post to IG, this should open this up. And in our executions, we should see that execution coming with the record ID ending in K3Y from our table. So here, as you can see, we get that right there, which is great. So now if I copy this to the editor, I can keep working with this. So we're able to get the record from our table right there. So the list is called that, or rather the database is called that, the list is called this, the record ID will come from the webhook. So let's execute that, we get all the information. And now this is where, yeah, I might actually use a code node, I guess, because what I want, actually, do I need that? No, I don't actually think I need that, because it's going to be, yeah, it's always going to be the same thing, I guess. So let's just say this is going to be the image array, it's going to be an array, and then we'll just have the different URLs right there. So here, image 1, we have the URL. I think this should work, image 1, and then we'll have image, this is 4, this is 3, and this should be 2. Let's remove the extra space, remove that extra comma, and yeah, let's just test from the webhook, see what we get. The JSON output in item 0 contains invalid JSON. Image array. Could be that we need this to be an array. No. Let's see. Why is this invalid JSON in an item? The URLs are not wrapped in quotes. Oh yeah, fair point. Fair point. Quotes. Yep, awesome. So now I have an array right there, which we can then split. So we can drag that in there. So we now have 4 items. So now we can loop over each item and upload each item to Blotato. Public URL of image or video. Yeah, so I don't think we can do all of the images at once. So let's do that. Let's loop through. And let's see what we get as the output at the end of that. What I'm hoping is that we get a list of 4 items. Great. And we just need to combine. So let's aggregate those URLs. So if we aggregate URL without uploading once more. So let me just run through that again. Yeah, here we should get an array of 4 Blotato URLs. What I would like to do though is, can we change this into, I don't know if that's just, yeah, it looks like an array. So I don't know if we can change that into a string. I'm not, it might not be an issue, but let's see. Maybe we can just stringify that. Because here we need a comma separated. I think we just, yeah, that will give us an array. So let's see if we do dot to JSON string. This is still putting it as an array right here, right? I think if we do JSON dot, what was it? JSON dot string fi. Yeah, I don't think this will work because this is giving us those brackets, which you can remove, I guess. Dot replace. Let's remove that. Let's have another dot replace to remove the closing square bracket. I think this should give us the string we want. Yeah. I'm not sure if Blotato is expecting that, but let's try it out. Then we have the getter record and we should have the caption somewhere. Social media caption. And I think this might be it. And then we're saying let's update that record. So here, what we're saying is that we want to use the getter record. Let's see what the exact reference is. So it would be get record.item.json.id. So that will be able to change the status. So here, if we go to our table access token, we put in our database name, choose the table, and update based on the record ID, which we can get from that getter record. We should be able to change the status to posted. But let's see what that looks like. Execute. Okay, I mean, no errors there. If we look at Blotato here and at Instagram, let's see what happens. So if we look at publish posts, this generally takes a few seconds. I mean, so far nothing. Give this a hot second. There were no errors here, right? Post submission ID, nope. Let's have a look at failed post maybe. Yeah, October 1st, yep. Could not publish on Instagram. Only photo or video can be accepted as media type. Interesting. Only photo or video can be accepted as media type. Okay, we might need to have a look at how to actually do this through the official API documentation, because here, media URLs comma separated list of media URLs. If we look at this, it should be a comma separated list of media URLs, right? If we just put this on separate lines where we have the comma, these should be, let's see, open up the first one. Yeah, so that's the first image. Okay, I mean, one weird thing is that we're just getting all the same images that were uploaded there. So there's something wrong there. But then again, it probably wouldn't explain why this not work. So we'd need to do some troubleshooting. So here, let's see what we're getting here. Okay, so here we're getting the same URLs, which, yeah, might be because we pinned the whole thing right there. So unpinning this would be the answer to not have the same images. And I think that should change the issue of the same images there. However, the bigger issue is, why did we get, let's see, couldn't publish on Instagram, only photo or video can be accepted as a media type. Okay, let's have a look. Potato, publish Instagram carousel. Create and post social media carousels across 5 platforms. Cool. Setup, documentation. All right, let's have a look here. Get Instagram carousel, post everywhere, platform specific notes. Okay, let's have a look at this. Can I use this? Copy template to clipboard, space the whole thing in here. Description overview, choose your social, either post immediately or schedule. AI agent calls corresponding rotator tool to generate carousel, wait and fetch completed carousel. Okay, get carousel. So here we have, I see, okay, so this is creating simple tweet card, quote card, tweet card, quote card with highlight on paper. So this is getting the carousel. Okay. So here we have Instagram post, get carousel.item.json.image URLs. Get carousel.item. Okay. So this is a video. Interesting. Okay. So this is getting a video. So maybe it needs to be, here we're creating a video. Okay. Interesting. Let's have a look here. So potentially we might need to create a video. Potato, create video, title, text, images. Okay, so I might need to use this video of images and text with minimal style. Here we can feed it multiple images. Let's see. So potentially, yeah, create video. Let's see if we feed this that. And then we need to wait and then check if this is ready, if the status is equal to done. So let's copy this. And then what was this here? Instagram post create. Potentially it would be this, which is, yeah, create post Instagram. Yeah, let's do step by step. So here, let's upload the different images and let's see if we can create that video in the first place. So this, okay, gave us the status of queuing. So let's connect that. And then let's see when this will be able to, or what will be able to have, what will have returned right there. So this is waiting 10 seconds. And this needs to get the video ID from our create video node. So run again. I mean, I guess technically then we don't even need to upload these 4 right here. We can just, yeah, take the array we have right here and use it to create video. So this part will become redundant. Okay, so here we got something done. We have the image URLs. I see. Okay, so I guess even though it's called video, it will give us those 4 images. So here we're double uploading, I think, the potato images. Add encouraging content easily and quickly. Capture. I don't think that was there in the first place, right? If we look at the aggregate, no. So somehow, text title. Is there a way to background text color, video of images and text with minimal style? Quote card with paper background and highlight. Let's try that. See what we have. Paper background. Let's use white paper. No, however, we want the ability to add photos. Quotes. No, we want to add images, right? Monochrome paper images. I think, yeah, that's the one. Let's try this again. And what I'm thinking, as I said, is that we might not even need all the stuff right here. So I'll just unhook that and let's just feed in the array directly. So here, you can just pass through that array. I think. Let's run this again. If and when that works, we'll then see if we can create a post. So in my case, we'll need to feed in that text and we'll need to feed in the media URL. So for the text, I'll just copy this. For the media URL, I think we'll just grab what we just got. So text, let's paste that in there. For media URLs, so here in the template, we have get carousel.item.json.image URLs. So I think we can also just reference this right here. and see if that works. And then on success, we can update the record. So let's see if we can just pin this and pin that. And yeah, let's pin the weight and that as well. Let's see what happens if we run this again, unless this will keep going forever, which I think it will. Yeah, that wasn't ideal. Can we not stop this? I think I'm gonna have to refresh this. Hopefully. Oh no, that's like an infinite loop of doom. Yeah, shouldn't have pinned that information apparently. I need to restart my NA10. Yeah, let me just do that. All right, and we're back. So here, let's just try this again. If I wanted to pin some data. Yeah, let's not pin some data. Let's see how it goes. Remove out to solve outstanding issues, which are, yeah, let's run that from the webhook. Okay, it was immediately done. It's a bit weird. And here we got an error. Count 28 not found. Oh yeah, obviously. Try again. Oh yeah, it makes sense, I guess, that we're getting this immediately because the video has already been created. Yeah, makes sense. The video with that ID. Okay, here we got success. Now, let's see. We go back to Potato. Sure how I ended up here. Let's go to failed. Okay, we still have one there. If we look at published, we have nothing there yet. Refresh this. So far, nothing there, but nothing there yet. So let's give it a second again. Okay, awesome. We'll have the 3 published posts. So this increased that. So now the... Okay, nice. We get that. All right, cool. However, we get the watermark there. We get the text here. So what we need is to figure out why that is. So let's go back to our workflow. So when we're creating the video, can we just, yeah, I guess delete these? I don't know if that would work, but let's unpin this. Let's run this again. And just to double check, yeah, we don't have any text on top of those. Okay, so this is not taking its time here. We don't need this at all. We don't need that. We can delete this as well. And let's also delete. I think we can delete this. While this is taking a few seconds to upload, let's just see when we're creating the quote card, tweet card. Yeah, we're not creating the same thing as I'm creating, which is from our custom images. So I think that we don't have any more information we can get from this right now. So let's delete that. And for now, let's tidy up the workflow, save that. And if we go back to Potato, look at published, we have a new one there. Let's hit view. Now we're still getting that text on top there. So I have the watermark text that's getting added for some reason. I mean, these are fine. Create video. We're just passing the images here. Is there something like, let's see if we can find documentation for video create. So Potato API docs. We just need to find the official documentation. Let's just close everything else. Here we can just delete the additional posts as well. So let's delete this and this. Settings, API, docs, N8 and templates, publish. It's not really about publishing, it's about creating. Slideshow and carousels. Your own images, you can do it, you don't need to, okay. Open the publish to Instagram, TikTok steps. All you have to do is submit a media URL array that contains your final images. Make sure to upload your images, videos to Potato first. That's what we're doing, no? Let's have a look.
Make this as simple as possible, but you can always customize and build complexity. Copy it to your folder and ensure that your Google Drive folder containing your media is actually public. So whatever folder where you are ready to post forms. Okay, so to run just this section, you can click this play button above here, and it's just going to run this initial section. Okay, when it's done, open this other menu.
Yeah, we're uploading to Potato.
Click pin in the section. Just make sure your account is selected, and then you can.
Let's have a look at the template once more. Copy page. Template. Let's download it. I would think it's the same one we're just playing around with, but let's see. Import from file, downloads. Yeah, seems to be like the same one. Media URL. Let's see what we have. Okay, we're just creating the video. So maybe we do need to upload the media to Potato. maybe we needed those steps. So then it wouldn't change. I mean, I don't think it should change anything, but let's see. So let's just grab this right here, which is what we had before. Just paste this in here and let's just reintroduce these steps. So here we split those out. So we split based on the image array. We feed this into that. We upload those 4 items. Let's actually execute this. So this should give us the aggregated blotato list. Cool. So this should be our image, button blotato. And if we confirm this, this should not have text on it. Cool. It doesn't. And then here for the image array, we can just use this, I would think. Might need to put it as an array, I guess. So let's put in the square brackets there. Let's try and execute this. Yep. And this is now queuing. So that's fine. So now we're to duplicate the carousel getter and just put in our ID. We should, not done yet. Okay. Let's do the manual refresh for now. Okay. Still queuing. Yeah, it's taking us time. Let's run the whole thing so it can keep doing the refresh on its own. So this should wait those 10 seconds and then start doing the polling of the system to see if this is done. I mean, other than that, I think this should be the same. Oh yeah, you know what we need to do, I think, is pass along these need to be in quotes. Yeah, so here it should be item 1, item 2. I think this will never get done because of that. So here when we create a video, or when we aggregate, how do we do that? I mean, here we have the double quotes, right? But for some reason, when we're aggregating that URL, those double quotes are getting removed. I think that might be the reason why this will never complete. So what if we, yeah, let's stop this. So when we aggregate, I mean, here the output does have those quotes, those double quotes. So why does this? That's very interesting. So what if we do it one by one? We're always going to have 4 items, right? So we pass along those 4 items. Would that work? So like if we pass them separately. So we pass along that. Let's put another open curly bracket. Yeah, let's try this. Put in a comma, and then we do 1, 2, and 3. Remove that extra comma, and then we do that. I know, potentially. Let's try it. Okay, that completed. So that was important. I'll just pin this. So now the question is, I guess, does this not insert the watermark that we had on those images? And hopefully that's the case. So let's see, blotato. Let's go back to published post to 24. So this hasn't updated yet. So in a second, we should get another post. So we'll have 5, unless that failed, obviously, which I don't think so far. Nope, it hasn't. Let's see here. No, we're still getting that for some weird reason. Yeah, I guess it's one thing I'll have to check about. That's super weird though. Yeah, that's one thing I'll have to check about. Let's remove this stuff here. Let's tidy that up. One thing we could also do, I guess, so this could be sort of like a version 1 where we are creating our own images, right? However, we could also use blotato itself to create the stuff. So here I have version 1, but we could also have an instance in which we don't actually start from this step right here, and we just create a video right here. I think so. If we go to create video, we could get this to generate the titles, generate the text, and actually I'm just thinking about this. Well, let's give this another shot. So here when we create video, let's just can we be deliberate with this? So here if I put a space, and here for text I put in nothing. I'm just curious what will happen. Let's run this once more from that and hit execute. In the meantime, while this is, am I running the right one? Not sure. So this is Airtable webhook. Yeah, it should be. Let me refresh this. While this will generate, which it doesn't seem to want to do for some weird reason, from Airtable webhook. Get a record, create to review. I mean, it shouldn't make a difference, but so weird. Let's just change this right here, or just delete that. Maybe there's some sort of conflict. Yeah, there was some sort of conflict. So this is now not able to process our request, okay? Text 0 must be non-empty string. So it doesn't like, I guess, that, I know what is text 0. If it's the watermark or this. Let's try removing the watermark. I have nothing as the watermark and try again. Okay, so that is text 0. So it doesn't like that we don't have anything there. So what if we do that? I think it's the same error. No, it's not. Okay, I mean, let's just see what it gives us. For this, what I'm thinking is that we could also have a situation where we use these right here, right? So we could, instead of using videos or images and text with minimal style, what if we use this Twitter X? Pretty sure these should update, but maybe it's because this is pinned. So if we change these, yeah, these will update. So what if we wanted reels, we have quote card carousel with paper background and highlight. Let's see, for example, choose the font. Let's do Poppins. Let's do starting an AI automation agency. And obviously these can be variables as well. But let's say we have starting an AI automation agency is hard, but it doesn't have to be. You can learn from others and cut down the time it takes. Close that. You can put in a highlighter color. You can choose white paper, and let's add a trigger to this. So this let's remove for now, and let's run the when clicking execute. So we test that out. In the meantime, I'm also curious what happens here. So here we should have published another. No, did we not publish that? So what happened here? No failed posts. I think we shouldn't we have published another one here? When we put in the empty watermark and the empty, yeah, I'm not sure. So here we have an error. Okay, reference node does not exist. So for the text, let's say sample text. That's fine. So let's run this once more first. But then I also want to understand why the run we had before when we were creating this did not actually happen. Okay, so this should have published. In the meantime, let's have a look at, yeah, I would think it would be this one, 1428. Yep. Interesting. So here it didn't do anything. Seems to have just stopped there for some weird reason. So let's try this again. Our table webhook. Run that. Let's see what happens here. And let's see if this uploaded a new one. Nothing yet. Let's have a look at, okay, I mean this is updating as well. Okay, so we should have 2 new posts. If we look at, I don't know why this keeps taking us to onboarding videos. Okay, login, published. So sample text was published. But what about the other one? Starting an AI automation agency is hard, doesn't have to be. You can learn from others and cut down the time it takes. Okay, I mean that's fine if it's just text. Can we center this potentially? So when we create this, don't see an option there. Title, font, yeah, don't see an option there. Let's try again. Choose another font, highlighter, color. So let's run this once more. In the meantime, yeah, here we have another one that we published. Okay, we have no watermark and no text there, so this might be it. We have watermark there. Okay, interesting. However, we don't have that text that was seemingly appearing on our images, so I think that's a step in the right direction. So what if over here we do the same thing for the watermark? And I don't think this is expecting an array, so let's just leave that as empty. Or as a, can we just put in like a space from our table webhook? Let's try again. So maybe there are like the defaults. If it's empty, it needs to be specified. Okay, this is updating. Cool. So if we look here at publish posts, we have the new one that we published before. So I think this is still not centered. Yeah. So I don't think we can. I mean, fair. If it's just text, we can use this. Maybe we don't have those formatting options yet. So here, quote card carousel with paper background and highlight. That's one thing, right? Let's see what other options we have. Twitter with minimal style, with photo video background, with monocolor paper background. So what if we try that? So font, philosopher, title, and then quotes. Let's run that again. I mean, just for testing purposes. So when, boom, here, we should also have another post. Yeah. Hopefully this has no watermark. Yeah, it doesn't have a watermark. For some reason, it's still sort of showing that watermark section on the first 2 images. But yeah, it's at the very least not inventing text. So there's that. Cool. So if we refresh this, we should also see the sample text, I guess, come through here in a second as well. Once that finishes, I mean, that has finished here. So it should come through in a bit. Yeah, it's not under failed posts. So it should come through here, I think, in a bit. It was 235. Yeah, so the other should be, I think, soon coming through. Because here, yeah, there's no errors. Let's see. Yep, and we got that right here. So I have the different format. It's still a carousel. You can learn from others, and yeah, so we're still getting that with the caption right there. So you could also mix and match those as well if you wanted to combine the different styles that we tried with this one, with generating the whole thing and then publishing it yourself. So there's a lot you can do. I mean, here you can also grab the, just thinking if we wanted to approve this, I guess we can't see the, we can see the images. We could save those to our table, I guess. And then when it comes to publishing, we would have the same process as we had right here. So we could also have an intermediate step where we have a review process and then the ability to post to Instagram. So that is there is that possibility as well. Anyway, it's not in my opinion, 100% solution yet. We are getting there, and it's great that you can generate text on the fly. That you can also use your images to generate carousels right here. So it is a good solution. I think it can get better. There's still room for improvement, is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, this has been going on for 1 hour, 14 minutes, which is pretty insane. This has been fun creating. I hope you found that valuable, and that if you have any questions or feedback or ways you could do this better, feel free to let me know in the comments below. In the meantime, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you need help with your AI automation business, also check out the links in the description for more information. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll speak to you soon.